Welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic. In today's video, we are going to add the next 20 creature cards to our Momir Vig Cube with a CMC of 6. What's up, MTG That is the MTG Burgeoning community. Here we are with another installment of our Momir Vig Cube series. If you are unfamiliar with the goal of this series, look in the description below for the introduction to Momir Vig. Click that link and find out what we're all about. Additionally, you can click the link to Cube Cobra and you can see the entirety of the content of our cube as it stands right now. For today, we got 20 with a CMC of 6, and we start off with a couple of bangers that anyone would want to be able to summon on the battlefield under their control. We're going to begin with Dragon Brood Mother. 4/4 Flying Dragon. The mana value doesn't matter because we're using our Momir Vig Visionary Avatar. So at the beginning of each upkeep, please keep that in mind. This is not just our upkeep. At the beginning of each upkeep, we create a 1/1 red and green dragon creature token with flying and Devour 2. Devour 2 means as the token comes into play, we may sacrifice any number of other creatures. It comes into play with twice that many +1/+1 counters on it. So with the investment of 6 mana, we're getting a 4/4 flyer that makes other flyers that can just get bigger and bigger as every turn takes place. Dragon Broodmother may not only be the most powerful 6-drop in the cube, it may be the most powerful creature in the cube. Right behind Dragon Broodmother, we have Dragon Lair Spider, a 5/6 spider with reach. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, we're going to create a 1/1 green insect creature token. The opponents are going to want to summon creatures to the battlefield, and each time they do, they can only do it once per turn. Each round of turns is going to generate us numerous insect creature tokens, and in a format like Momir Vig, where everything is creature driven and there are no instants or sorcery spells, any creatures that can make more creatures are highly, highly coveted. Creature number 3, mono blue, we have Dream Eater. It's a 4/3 flyer. The flash doesn't matter because we can only cast these creatures during our turn at sorcery speed. When Dream Eater ETBs, we get to surveil 4, and when we do, we may return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. The only permanents that will be on the battlefield outside of lands will be creatures. Better yet, every creature on the battlefield is going to be a token copy of something because every creature summoned from the Momir Vig Cube is a token copy of that creature. So what we're really looking at here with Dream Eater is a 4/4 with flying, that so coveted evasion, that when it ETBs, we get to surveil 4 and then exile target creature an opponent controls. Extraordinarily powerful. The surveillability for this deck, for this format, may not be as advantageous. However, perhaps there are some specific covered lands we need in our hand to get onto the battlefield to activate some highly valuable abilities of our creatures. The surveil mechanic will help to make sure that you can do that. Creature number 4, another multicolored beast. We have Drooling Grudian, a 4/3 beast. We can pay 2 in Golgari colors to sacrifice a creature, and target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and another target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. This creature can cause all kinds of combat shenanigans, and in a format where combat is the number 1 way to win, the number 2 way to win, and right now the number 3 way to win, any creatures that can offer any type of advantages during the combat phase should be highly coveted. And this is the time that we say, MTGBC, make sure your land decks are as diversified as possible so you can take advantage of those Golgari colors. Creature number 5 in our first colorless edition, we have Duplicant, a 2/4 shapeshifter with the imprint mechanic. When it ETBs, we may exile target non-token creature. Unfortunately, every creature in the deck every creature in the format is a token creature. So that is not going to work, folks. Duplicate is not going to exile anything. And this is the part of the video where we say not every creature in the Momir Vig Cube is uber powerful. So what you're going to end up with is a 2/4 for just 6 mana. Creature number 6, back to mono blue, we have Elagath the Crossroads Augur, a 5/6 flyer. If we were to scry any number of cards, we draw that many cards instead. Having cards in our hand are very important because each time you summon a creature from the Momir Vig Cube, you must discard a card. Another colorless edition, we have Endbringer. It is a 5/5 Eldrazi, and we get to untap during each other player's untap step. We can tap Endbringer to deal 1 damage to any target. We can pay a colorless mana, tap Endbringer, and target creature can't attack or block this turn. And we can pay 2 colorless mana and tap Endbringer to draw a card. Please note that the colorless mana symbols are designated on Endbringer, so colored mana will not work. Your basic land deck better have some wastes included in order to get the full scope of Endbringer's activated abilities. If not, you've got a 5/5 pinger that untaps at the beginning of each turn, which, let's be honest, is still extremely valuable. Next creature, our first mono black edition, we have Face of Fear, a 3/4 horror. We can pay 2 and a black, discard a card from our hand, and Face of Fear cannot be blocked this turn except by artifact creatures and or black creatures, which that just means Face of Fear gets fear. All right, getting close to the first half of this video, another mono black creature. We have Feaster of Fools, a 3/3 demon with the Convoke mechanic. Convoke does not have any effect in the Momir Vig Cube. So what we really have is a 3/3 flyer with Devour 2. Very similar to what we were talking about with the Dragon Broodmother. When this creature ETBs, we may sacrifice any number of creatures. Feaster of Fools will get 2+1/+1 counters for each creature sacrifice, so we could end up producing a very big flying threat. And creature number 10, with the potential to have an outside of combat win condition. That is Felidor Sovereign, a 4/6 cat beast with vigilance and lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. The first such instance of being able to win the game outside of combat. We begin Momir Vig with 24 life. It is not outside of the realm of possibility that we can end up with 40 or more with a creature like Felidor Sovereign under our control. However, please note that once you summon, if you're fortunate enough to do so, Felidor Sovereign to your side of the battlefield, it seems highly likely that you will become target number 1 for the entire table. All right, the second half of the video continues with a mono red edition, Firemaw Kavoo, a 4/2 Kavoo with Echo. That's right, folks. Echo is going to come back to get you, because that means at the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, you're going to have to sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. So you're going to have to summon this creature pretty much twice if you want to keep it on the battlefield. When Firemaw Kavoo ETBs, it deals 2 damage to target creature, and when it leaves the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to target creature. Let's be honest, folks, I think we're only going to invest the initial 6 mana into this creature, and once we do, we're going to shock one of our creatures, and then once we don't pay the Echo, we're going to double shock another creature. In a format that doesn't have a ton of removal, any creature that has removal is going to be very valuable. Firemaw Kavoo has the potential of offing 2 creatures for the investment of just 6 mana. Next up, creature number 12, another mono red edition. We have Flameblade Angel. This time we have that oh-so-coveted evasion. It's a 4/4 flyer, and whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to us or a permanent we control, we will have Flameblade Angel deal 1 damage to that source's controller. Having this angel on the battlefield and under our control could make our opponents think twice about sending their creatures into combat, particularly because even if we chump block down, we are still going to have Flameblade Angel send our opponent's life totals south. A third consecutive mono-red edition, this time much bigger on the power level. We have Flame Blast Dragon, a 5/5 flyer. Oh, we love that evasion in Momir Vig. Whenever Flame Blast Dragon attacks, we may pay X in a red, and if we do, we get to deal X damage to any target. Flame Blast Dragon has the ability, if you have your red mana on the battlefield and in that basic land deck, Flame Blast Dragon has the ability to completely take over the game. Send it into combat. It has evasion. It's going to be tough to block if our opponent's creatures don't have any flying or reach. And at the same time, we can pay mana into it to remove any potential threats from the battlefield, or just make sure that another opponent's life total plummets south. All right, next up, and another colorless creature, we have the Flowstone Sculpture, a 4/4 artifact creature. We can pay 2 mana and choose and discard a card, and Flowstone Sculpture gains flying, first strike, or trample permanently, or we put a +1/+1 counter on Flowstone Sculpture. As valuable as the lands are, in our hand that we need to discard in order to summon a creature from the Momir Vig Cube, it may be just as valuable to activate Flowstone Sculpture's ability to give it some evasion and make it bigger and bigger. It's going to make you think if you're fortunate enough to summon that artifact creature to your side of the battlefield. Hitting the 3/4 mark of this video, we have Foundry Champion, a 4/4 elemental soldier. When it ETBs, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of creatures you control. Being able to spread around direct damage in a format that does not include any instants or sorceries, that could be enough to tilt the favor of the game completely on you. Additionally, for another bonus, for every red mana you tap, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and for every plains you tap, it gets +0/+1. Another example of making sure you have the diversified lands in your basic land deck. We couldn't stay away from mono red for too long, so here is the Free Jam Regent, a 4/4 dragon with Improvise. Improvise does nothing in Momir Vig. It has flying, and for every 1 in a red mana we pay, Free Jam Regent gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So make sure you have those red mana sources in that basic land deck. Another colorless creature, not much to talk about other than the fact that it's a 4/4 and it has that oh-so-coveted evasion of flying. A mono blue edition here for creature number 18. We have Graxaplan. It's a 3/4 beast. It's unblockable if defending player controls 3 or more creatures that share a creature type. Not impossible in the Momir Vig Cube to have a 3/4 that's going to be sent into combat. It's not impossible for that bad boy to be unblockable. Creature number 19 is a mono black edition and another creature with evasion. We have a 3/4 flying vampire. However, we also have the landfall mechanic, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, other creatures we control get +1/+0 until end of turn. If that land is a swamp, those creatures are going to get +2/+0 instead. So make sure you're packing your swamps, because that could be enough to tilt combat in your favor and have you come up the victor. All right, MTGBC, creature number 20, and yet another mono red edition. We have Hammer Fist Giant, a 5/4 giant warrior that when you turn sideways, it will deal 4 damage to each creature without flying and each player. Pay close attention to the dynamic presented here by Hammer Fist Giant. You're going to tap him, but he's going to end up killing himself as well. So please be sure that the numbers work in your favor before you end up sacrificing a 5/4, because he's not coming back. Once a creature leaves the battlefield in Momir Vig, they cease to exist. All right, MTGBC, another 20 for the Momir Vig Cube. Which do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic.